me ask you about what we have seen released in the Epstein files so far. Former President Bill Clinton is featured prominently in the first batch, as I was just discussing. Now, to be very clear, NBC News does not know the full context behind these images, and simply being in the Epstein files doesn't...
Sorry about that. These guys are just clowns. I'm sorry. I'm messing up the entire live stream because they just open up with, well, let's be clear here. It's clear that Epstein is all over that Clinton is all over the place here, but it's not proof that he did anything wrong. But they spent the last 6 months to a year spreading all kinds of trash about President Trump, claiming that him simply being seen standing beside Epstein with videos of him showing him around Mar-a-Lago was him being a partner in Epstein's crimes.
But then you got Clinton with these girls sitting on his lap.
And you don't have one photo of that of Trump. You don't have one. But to be clear, Bill Clinton is innocent. Look, he wouldn't do that. It's impossible to assume that all these pictures of him in a jacuzzi means
ain't nobody going to jail over the Epstein files. One of those girls files a lawsuit.
Well, they aren't going to file a lawsuit because they know, already one person is dead.
Yep.
So that's a warning shot to anyone who wants to step forward to claim anything, was done to them by the likes of Bill Clinton. Okay. Well, let's keep going. This is insane.
Any criminal wrongdoing. But does Clinton owe the public an explanation about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein?
I actually haven't tracked what President Clinton has said, and if there are unanswered questions, he should address them, and I suspect he will. But let's just make sure that we meet the promise that President Trump made as a candidate that all these files will be released. Let's put all the facts and all the material out on the table, and then folks can reach their own judgments about it.
Oh, jeez.
Even if they include himself.
I'm sorry, but the
lost Russian hoax. They've lost all kinds of hoax. And now they're running with the Epstein hoax.
And they can't even get that right.
No. And I knew when they released it that there was going to be tons of Democrats involved in it.
Of course, because it was Republicans who were screaming from the rooftops about the Epstein files, knowing that it was filled with Democrats.
And we also already knew that, yes, there was pictures out there of Trump with Epstein.
Yeah.
That was exposed a long time ago.
Yeah.
So
anybody connected with this horrible, horrible case. I led the effort to try to deny Secretary of Labor Acosta confirmation in the first Trump administration because of his involvement in this sweetheart deal, which, even knowing a fraction of the facts back then in 2017, it looked horrible, and he eventually had to resign in disgrace because of it. And since then, the public has had legitimate questions, and everything since, including Jeffrey Epstein's suicide, legitimate questions. Let's get it all out on the table.
These guys are just despicable. In my opinion, these guys have no soul, because we followed this story for the last 10 years. At every single point, the Democrats pretended like it didn't exist.
Yeah.
They had 4 years. They had 4 years controlling the House and Senate, and they had the presidency, and they didn't release the Epstein files. And then suddenly, it's this magic bullet that's going to end Donald Trump's career. Now more files have been released. Bill Clinton features heavily in those in that release, and all he has to say is, well, the Republicans, and Trump, let's talk about Bill Clinton being in the files. Oh, well, I haven't been tracking what he's been saying. These people have no soul, in my opinion, because they have no shame. They tell lies at every turn. They try to twist.
Wayne has been disgraced time and time again for the lies.
Oh.
And he hasn't resigned.
Jeez. Okay, so, so as a follow-up, CNN tries to spin this whole conversation to say, look, why is all this happening? And then Scott Jennings, who I think he's from Kentucky. Scott Jennings says this.
Scott, don't you think that because they are not releasing everything that Congress and the president signed to say you have to release this in 30 days, doesn't it give more fodder for the conspiracies that exist? I mean, they're not following the law.
Well, look, they've released how many documents tonight? 200,000?
Wow.
More? 400?
10% of that.
Okay, so a good faith effort is being made to release files tonight.
Really?
They're obviously doing that. And I think as it relates to redactions, I mean, my impression is that there's a whole lot of names of victims in there and minors and other people that you probably wouldn't want to release, and they do need to be redacted. Regarding Bill Clinton, I'm sorry to tell you, the reason that Bill Clinton's picture is in the Epstein files is because this has always been a story about Bill Clinton and not Donald Trump. We should call it the Clinton files, not the Epstein files. That's what we're learning tonight. This is the Clinton files. This is the blowing up in the face of the Democrats over this. It's Bill Clinton. This is a story about Democrats and Bill Clinton, and it's always been that way.
It's all, like we said, for 10 years we've been following this story, and it's always been about how Democrats were in cahoots with Epstein, going to his island and doing God knows what. So, like, this isn't going to go away, but I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think anything is going to happen to anyone who's on those files.
Well, you need to ask who replaced Epstein. Because they ain't stopped doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
They won't.
Yeah.
Because they're better than everybody else.
Uh-huh. So, guys, if you're watching, let's know what you think in the chat, okay? Because we've been covering this story, and I made a prediction. I said every time something good happens with the Trump administration, they come up with another Epstein hoax, because that's all they have right now. The Democrats don't have any selling points other than hate Trump, Trump bad, hate Trump. Trump did this horrible thing by letting his name be used on the Kennedy Center. That has been that goes to the level of a child crying because their sibling looked at them. You know, that is the levels to which the Democrats have fallen. The board at the Kennedy Center decided that they were going to rename the Kennedy Center the Trump Kennedy Center. And the Democrats are losing it over that. They're claiming that that is a travesty. Maybe we're going to hear more about that insanity. But first, let's move on to the next story. All right. Now, we have the usual suspects screaming about Trump's gold card initiative. All right, so let's watch, and then we'll give our commentary.
This is the gold card that, as you know, the Secretary of Commerce and myself and some others have been working on for quite a while. And Howard, how much have we sold in a few days?
$1.3 billion in a matter of a couple of days.
That's essentially it's the green card on steroids, and it's a pathway, and it's been an amazing thing. And as you know, millions of people pour into our country from the border, and not anymore. They don't know. Nobody comes in actually anymore, but under the Biden administration. 25 million people came in, and they came from prisons and mental institutions, and they were drug dealers, and all sorts of people came in that shouldn't be here. They came from the jails all over Venezuela, all over the world, the Congo. And now when they come in, they have to pay $1 million. And we've had a tremendous surge, and you're going to be happier than anybody because when you go to Harvard and the Wharton School of Finance and all of the great schools and you want to hire somebody and then you find out that, I'm sorry, they can't stay in our country for more than 24 hours. They graduate from the top schools. These people want to hire them. Now you're able to buy a card and you're able to keep people in the country. They can't keep people in the country. And they go to Canada, they go to other countries. A lot of times they go to Canada even though they work for the companies behind me. So now you're able to buy, the companies are able to buy the card and use it for people coming in to our country so they can stay in our country instead of being immediately shipped out after graduating. They graduate number one in their class at the best school, and they want to go to work for Johnson & Johnson, as an example, who's not here today, who will be here next week. They're well represented here. But they want to go to work for one of the great companies behind me, and you learn they can't do that because they're shipped out of the country. They're not shipped out anymore. So your company will pay a little bit, but that's okay. You'll be able to get them. So I just wanted to let it's called the gold card, the Trump gold card. Quite a beautiful thing. And you've taken in just a few days, you've taken in over $1.5 billion. That goes all toward reducing debt, goes into the Treasury.
All right. So President Trump initiates the Trump gold card. Democrats are going crazy over this initiative because as far as they're concerned, bringing in people who have the means to take care of themselves and are not a burden on the United States taxpayer is a bad thing. It's horrible that President Trump is saving the American people billions of dollars that Democrats want to spend on illegal aliens. He wants a pathway that exists that allows people to essentially fast-track immigration by a show that they can take care of themselves. Of course, I'm sure that there will be background checks, knowing where the money came from and being sure that they're not essentially bringing in people who made their wealth based on illegal means. I believe that that's going to happen. But Democrats don't care about that. All they care about is optics. Okay, we want to appear to be compassionate. The American economy is over 37 trillion in debt.
Yep.
And you guys still scream that we're the wealthiest country in the world. We should be able to take care of everyone. You guys are in debt. It's a math problem, and you guys are pretending that it doesn't exist. Here's what they're saying on CNN.
I will quibble with one part of your argument that only Congress can set immigration policy. During the Biden years, via executive fiat, we brought in scores and scores, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people from Haiti and Venezuela and other places just based on presidential fiat, temporary protected status, and they come here and then it's hard to get them out. And so the president does have some latitude here, or at least previous administrations have had some latitude in deciding what kind of people do we want to have come here. Under the Biden administration, we brought a lot of people here. I'm not sure what they do for America. Under this program, you're going to have people coming here. It is a source of funds for the United States. They are entrepreneurs. They do have something to offer America, I think. And I agree with you on the doctors. I think if I were in his shoes, I'd be looking, because rural hospitals do need the help. That's absolutely true. They did something for rural hospitals in the big, beautiful bill, but they need staffing. And so I'm with you on that.
Yeah. So
the thing about the gold card that people are missing, this is not something any individual can own. It was designed for companies to buy it in order to bring people into the country to work for the company.
But the Democrats wanted to, like you can see the subtitle here on CNN. Trump fast tracks visa process to wealthy foreigners.
No.
So they essentially are burying the real story.
They're trying to make it look like that gold card can be purchased by anyone.
look, if an individual
specifically stated that the companies spend the $1 million to get the gold card to bring people in,
yeah,
not an individual.
this deliberate misinformation by the Democrat Party and left-leaning media is just, in my opinion, it is despicable. It is evil. I don't like it. If you're trying to report a story that is actually happening, report the facts.
Yeah,
All right.
not going to get that card.
I'm thinking of my country, and I'm like, okay, we had a lot of middle class people in the country 5 years ago. So far, the middle class is emptying out because the economy essentially became hostile to the economy, and the government became hostile to middle class people. Okay, and then they essentially decimated their savings by changing economic policies, where at one point it was $100, so 100 naira of our currency to $1. Okay, and then the government that was backed by Barack Obama made it worse. It got up to 550 of our currency to $1.
That's horrible.
That happened for 8 years.
That bankrupts a country.
Yes. Now, the new president changes the policy. And just before I moved to Canada, I told my cousin, I said, the way these people are heading, the currency is going to hit 1,000 within a few months.
Yeah.
Before the end of the year, it was at 1,500, 1,500 of our currency to $1.
Whoa.
And it's holding at that right now. So whenever I think of people saying, okay, you're trying to fast track this for wealthy foreigners, I'm trying to think of people in my country who are that wealthy. They don't want to leave because the system works for them.
Right.
They don't. Anyone who would like to leave, even if they had $1 million, that would bankrupt them instantly.
Right. But what they're missing is these cards will not be bought by a foreigner. Foreign people can't call up the State Department, I want a gold card. These cards are going strictly to companies in America that wish to import talent.
Okay. So
that's a big difference between an individual buying that card and a company buying it.
So that's just more misinformation coming from the Democrats. They want it to appear that like Trump is selling out the country to wealthy foreigners. Or
yeah, and the foreigners aren't the ones buying the car.
They aren't. All right. Now, if you're watching, okay, we have a comment, Canary King. So I found out something. We went live on all the other channels, but the main YouTube channel was offline for some reason. So I don't know. It happened. So I'm sorry about that. You just came in on the second story because we had already covered a first story. So maybe I'll do a standalone video later today to cover that first story. So he says, this is a very, let me switch over to the next comment. This is a very important topic. Look, I agree. And he also says the middle class is under attack. And when I moved to Canada, before I moved to Canada, while I was watching the Biden economic policies, I thought to myself, it appears like first world countries are eager to have the same latitude that third world leaders or dictators have, where they can, with a stroke of a pen, wipe out the middle class because those pesky middle class upstarts are getting in our way. They have enough time to protest. They have enough time to post on social media. They should be knuckling down under the weight of hard economic policy so that they don't have time to even complain. You know, and I said to myself, it seems like the first world leadership is trying to move towards this this position where they do things to the middle class that essentially either drives them out or erases them completely. And within the first year of my moving here to Canada, I looked back to Nigeria and it was as if the middle class had essentially been wiped out. Yep. Because if you had, so let's say you had, and I'm going to use dollars for, as an example. Let's say you had $10,000 saved in your bank account. It's in your savings account, it's in your checking account, wherever it is. And overnight, the government changes policies that essentially drops the value of your money to $5,000 overnight.
Yeah.
You still see 10,000 in the account, but the buying value has been dropped to about $5,000. That's what happened in my country. That's what happened. And the saving grace for a lot of people is that they had pushed their funds into crypto.
Yeah.
And then the government went after crypto. They went after crypto to the point where it got really difficult to do any transaction with crypto. I had a crypto account and eventually I was locked out of my crypto account. I couldn't put in money or draw money because the policies began to go after banks that allowed you to push money into these exchanges.
I don't think people understand the third world classification that well. I have a friend in Kenya that works with the youth through art programs to teach them a better way than to join gangs.
Yeah.
And if you want to send them art materials, it will cost you twice as much as the materials themselves cost to get it to Kenya.
Yes.
And that's where the problem lies, is they don't want it coming in. They want to control the wealth of the people. And they don't want people earning wealth. They want to keep them in the poverty levels.
Yes.
That's easier to control mass populations if they're all poor.
Yes.
Dependent on the government.
Yeah. And
that's what Venezuela did to its country.
Look, it would be. I've seen Nigeria transition from being an economy that was on par with the dollar. There was a time when it was $1 to a naira. It was 1-on-1, 1-to-1. I was born during that period. In fact, the dollar was weaker than the naira at some point. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then over time,
Clinton and Obama's administration, that's when our dollar value fell.
So while the dollar was falling, our currency was falling even harder. Mm-hmm. So you see that happening, and then you're talking about the cost of getting things to supply to third world countries to help the poor and the middle class. People in Nigeria stopped buying brand new cars.
Yeah.
They stopped buying brand new cars. So what they would do is people who lived in the United States or places like Canada would buy cars that had been involved in a car crash. Then they would quickly fix the car and then ship the car over to Nigeria because they don't have inspections or anything of the sort in Nigeria. They just ship them over to Nigeria. People pick them up at the port and then sell them to people in Nigeria. There are whole businesses whose jobs is just shipping used cars from the United States or Canada or Europe and selling them in Nigeria. Is a huge industry. So guess what the government decided to do? Since Nigerians can't afford to buy brand new vehicles, and since now there's a booming used car business in the country, let's attack that too.
And tariffs.
So now it costs it costs twice the value of the car, of the used car, to clear it from the ports.
Aha. Gotcha.
Look, I've seen this play out in Nigeria. It happens in other third world countries. And whenever, I see the Democrats have such, they get so excited about these controlling policies that attack the middle class. It shocks me that no one is paying attention. It seems like no one is paying attention. They say, "Oh, look at Epstein files over here, Epstein files," and then they attack the ability of the average American or Canadian or Brit or Italian. They attack the ability of these people who are law-abiding to actually succeed by telling them lies that these policies are actually supposed to make the billionaires rich. Meanwhile, the policies are going to affect them as well, the middle class and the poor. It will help them be able to achieve more. So this is happening everywhere. There's so Canary King has been chatting. So he says we've been draining surplus from the middle class. They are trying to create a ruling class and a subject class.
Spot on. Spot on.
That is exactly what they've been trying to do.
And
exactly.
People need to wake up to the fact that the people in Congress, the majority of them are multi-millionaires, telling you, the working class, that they need to tell you what to do and what to think.
Oh,
people aren't stopping to think about, well, they're the ones that they keep talking about, the dirty, rotten, rich people.
Yeah.
And
as long as they can get you to hate the rich, there's the rich, the billionaires. Oh no. No, they grew up in a middle class family like Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
They grew up in a middle class home. Look.
Don't ask how they became multimillionaires.
Oh no.
Just by being elected to Congress.
Oh no. Every single one of them, and I'm just saying this, I don't think any one person in Congress came from a middle class home. They all came from wealthy homes. Every single one of them, including the ones who claim that their parents are or their dads were reverends, like Jasmine Crockett. Okay, she essentially went to an elite school.
Yep.
Okay, so whenever these people say all of the nonsense they say about the rich, about how Trump is favoring the rich, it's all a ploy to get you to kick against policies that will help you. First off,
Senator Kennedy, we love him.
Yeah.
There's also, there are some in Congress that have not gotten filthy rich. And those are the ones that I'd come closer to trusting than any of the rest of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Look,
and they're the ones that are standing up for the middle class and wanting to raise people out of poverty.
Yeah. But they are the minority. And that's the heartbreaking thing. When you have a minority of good people trying to help the middle class or the poor, and they are the minority, they aren't the loudest voices, the media doesn't give them airtime, they only give these other people airtime.
Remember the Portland, Oregon Love Fest. It's all about love.
Mm-hmm.
When people went in there was an opportunity zone that had been set up under the Trump administration that entrepreneurs had opened up businesses.
Mm.
And one black woman had opened up a shop. and it got burnt to the ground. She lost her business. And that I was noticing that they were targeting certain stores when they were setting them on a fire. And most of them was the small business and entrepreneurs that were getting burned out.
Yeah. All right.
It was targeted during that time.
Yeah. So for those on the main channel, because the live stream essentially is for the main channel. Okay. Everyone else is enjoying the live stream, but it is mainly for the main channel. We're going to go back and do a recap on the first story for the benefit of the main channel. But we're going to sit on this because there's a lot of concern. Canary King says the dollar is under attack.
Yes.
And it ramped up under the Biden administration with the BRICS countries coming together and trying to have this coalition to destroy the hegemony. You know, that word became really popular during the Biden administration. The hegemony, American hegemony, the American empire hegemony. That word became really popular, and essentially, and the petrodollar also became very popular. And so the BRICS countries came up with this bright idea to unseat the dollar and replace it with what? With what exactly? So it's astonishing that whenever you study the policies that are pushed by leftists, these are policies that are meant to create malcontent, because the more these policies take root, the more people get disadvantaged economically and otherwise. They get disadvantaged. The more these policies take root, the more you have a failed economy. And at the end of that road is the Democrats or leftists standing, with their capes saying, "Come to us, we'll save you from the problems that they created."
We broke it, but you just wait. We'll fix it.
Yeah, you hire the arsonist to put out the fire.
I'm sorry. If you break it, I'm not going to let you fix it.
Yeah. So
we're going to get somebody else in.
Yeah. So Canary King says the dollar is tied to the industrial manufacturing sector, which they outsourced. They outsourced manufacturing, hollowing out the Rust Belt.
Yes.
That is the truth. Like I said, do a forensic. Yeah, do a deep dive. Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
All became ghost towns.
Yeah. And that was good for America.
Yeah.
It's
great for the economy. Yeah.
It's insane how people buy these lies.
And that came out of Clinton's era.
Yes. It came out of Clinton.
A value out of America.
Yeah.
Throwing it out the door. Shoveling it. Just getting rid of it.
But you know what? I believe that when that was happening, people spoke up against it.
Oh, they did. They did. We lost Russell Springs, Kentucky, had Fruit of the Loom. And that was their major company in that small town that employed its people. Now, if you go over to Russell Springs, there's no Walmart. They don't have a Walmart in that town. They have only one major grocery store. There's very little there that you can get hired to work at. And that place became a ghost town. And people couldn't sell their homes and move away because nobody would go over there and buy a house to live in because there was no jobs. And the same things happened in Eastern Kentucky. where the jobs left and people were just stuck there.
Yeah.
To come up with whatever way they could to pay for their homes.
Yeah.
So this whole process of kicking the manufacturing out of America was gutting the middle class sector.
Yeah. Canadian says Clinton's 8 years were a disaster for the economy. And I look, one of the things that I found, and I'm going to say this, and even though what we're doing here can be classified as media, one of the biggest enemies of a successful country is the media.
Oh yeah, because they've got your attention every day on the news.
Yeah, and they spread these veneered lies to make it look like, oh, okay, for example, with politics. Oh, look at Bill Clinton, how handsome he is. He's a southern, down-to-earth, governor who was successful in Arkansas, and then now he runs for president, and with his lovely.
Yeah, nobody in Arkansas voted for him.
Well,
he didn't win Arkansas.
Exactly, the media spins it. They spin it. They say, well, he won the popular vote. Why? Because he had a nice, dashing smile. He's handsome. He has a lovely wife.
Right before he ran for president, there was another presidential election that had a man named Hart in it.
Okay.
And pictures came out of him on a boat with his girlfriend instead of his wife. And he dropped out of the race. Now, Bill Clinton came out running for president, and up pops Jennifer Flowers, a woman he'd had an affair with for 12 years.
Look, I've never heard this part because the media didn't talk about this. This story didn't get to me in Nigeria.
Yeah, so all you got to do is look up Jennifer Flowers.
Ah, jeez.
He had an affair with her, and it must have started at the same time that Chelsea was born, because when all this came out, Chelsea was 12 years old.
Ooh.
Henceforth, him and Hillary never had another child.
Yeah. I wonder why.
In fact, I had heard that they were legally separated when he decided to run for presidency, and he went to her and said, let's get back together so I can be president.
Yeah.
Did she buy into that? You bet she did.
Okay, so I'm gonna share this screen and read this out because just a quick look. Just a quick look here. Hold on. Duplicate. In my opinion, okay, and this is my opinion, the media is the enemy of any developing or developed country. When I was growing up, I felt that I was sold the idea that the media was a help to the economy, and I believed it. And to be honest, many people out there believe the same thing that I believed. Look at that. Let's see. Oh my goodness, this is horrible. This is horrible. So what the media did for Bill Clinton essentially was launder his image and make sure that he won the election. So there's
Monica Lewinsky.
Oh, well, that came later. So here you have a quote by Jennifer Flowers. I met Bill Clinton in 1977 while I was working as a news reporter for Cock TV in Little Rock, Arkansas. Shortly after we met, we began a sexual relationship that lasted for 12 years. So, like, these things are out there, but the media mutes these revelations.
With the Monica Lewinsky thing, is all he had to do was come out in front of the reporters, look them square in the eye, and say it's none of your damn business, and turn around and walked off, and it would have been over.
But what did he do?
Instead of wagging his finger saying, I did not have a sexual relationship with that woman.
It's sad. It's sad. And and these are all the women.
Yeah.
All the women that Bill Clinton had
affairs with. Yeah.
See, Canary King has a pet peeve. Okay, he has a pet peeve. His pet peeve is his scandals like this. He loves it. So, all right. So,
but the thing that what was going on with all these women was he was married to Hillary Clinton at that time.
Well, that's why it's called an affair.
Yeah.
That's why
he was a single most wanted bachelor in New York.
Like Trump was.
Yeah. He was married.
Well, this conversation isn't going to move further until Canary King posts that there was this porn star that showed up while he was married to Melania. So he loves that story. He loves to bring it up and to poke me with that story. So I'm sure it's coming up soon. So here's Canary King's take on Clinton. All right, he says Clinton sold out the middle class.
Yep.
Totally agree. While he was having his sessions with Lewinsky.
With over 30 countries.
Yeah, look at that.
And he did it 2 years before he left office, thinking he had enough time to clear out before the impact hit. But what happened was the manufacturing side already knew he was going to do this, and they had already set up the groundwork to move their companies out of the country.
Yeah.
So when he announced the trade agreements, boom, they were in business.
Wow.
And the exodus of American jobs started the 2 years before he left office. And then they turned around and tried to blame it on Bush.
Yeah. And that's the Democrat playbook.
Yep.
They burn down the House, then they blame the Republicans.
Well, of course. Only Republicans are smart enough to do something like that.
Canary King says, okay, so if you're watching, please leave a comment in the chat. Okay, stop lurking. Okay, leave a comment in the chat and let us know what you think.
Clinton was charismatic, but so was Hitler.
Yeah. I don't
So
like
was Fidel Castro.
I don't like charismatic people. I am very suspicious of charismatic people.
Make a charlatan.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I don't like people who talk fast. They're like, oh, they just talk fast, and what they say sounds smart. You know, I don't like people who are that way at all. I don't trust them. I don't.
I mean, Obama was charismatic, and he meant every word when he said, "You didn't build that business. America, the government did it." I remember saying that, going, "Really?"
Oh yeah, yeah.
Our government can't even set up a budget that works.
Yeah. So you know what? If you live in a country where people vote, guys, don't vote the good-looking guy.
No.
Don't vote the guy who has a dashing smile with perfect teeth. Vote the guy who has calloused hands, who has been in the trenches working and building things, who knows how things really work. Okay? Stop looking for the guy that looks like they would make the country appear to be attractive. You know,
I'm going to
it's
say this, and it's very controversial. Stop looking for a preacher to be president. They
I agree.
don't have what it takes
Yes.
to stand up to these barbaric people
Yep.
and push a policy that will help the country.
You know,
They'll pray about it.
Yeah, I had a 4-hour conversation with someone that I knew from back in Nigeria, and he was shocked that I could support someone like Donald Trump. And I say to people, I say, if you read the Bible and you read of the people that God chose to do something about the sin of Israel, they were not nice people.
No.
They were not nice people.
What they do?
Yeah, there was a time when a prophet, Samuel, had to take a sword and hack an evil king to pieces. So sometimes when I listen to preachers and they sound all, we aren't supposed to hurt a fly, I'm like, you guys don't even read your Bibles. You don't know what goes on in that book that tells you, like, there are times when you have to be very firm. You have to be harsh with your words because you're trying to wake people up. They say, I don't like how Trump said this. For example, I'm listening to people clutching their pearls about what Trump said about Rob Reiner last week, and I'm like, you guys are so neutered that you don't know what it takes to win.
Yep.
You don't know what it takes to win. Part of winning is telling the truth about people, no matter how uncomfortable it is. Rob Reiner did say those things. He was the kind of person that President Trump described. And again, for the Christians out there who are busy clutching their pearls, don't speak ill of the dead. The Bible speaks ill of the dead all the time. All the time. Oh, look at that person. They did evil in the sight of the Lord and they were destroyed. The Bible doesn't have nice things to say about people who did bad stuff. It doesn't.
No.
Alive or dead, the Bible tells the truth. We have to stop clutching our pearls over things that are just rubbish. Okay, stop being religious and brainwashed. Tell the truth. If somebody did bad things while they were alive, while you can be sad that about the way they went, for example, I watched the video where Saddam Hussein, no, it was Muammar Gaddafi, where he was found and he was being pulled off that truck and he was just asking the people, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? And they basically dragged him off that pickup truck and killed him.
Yeah.
I thought he looked pitiful. He looked sad, but when you go back and watch his history, you watch his
incident.
Yeah.
Obama and Hillary was responsible for that.
Yeah.
But what the American people did not know was that Omar Gaddafi was working with America against Al-Qaeda and ISIS. And he had to be taken out of the way. And who moved in to Libya? Al-Qaeda.
Oh, come on.
ISIS.
This is, look.
Yeah.
Guys, just wake up, okay? Wake up, okay? Personally, I want to be liked. Personally, I wouldn't talk the way President Trump talks. But if you want to win, okay, you need a street fighter as your candidate. Someone who is willing to go toe to toe with the press, with the Democrats. He's willing to play dirty when it counts. And I didn't say illegal. Play dirty. Play dirty. Confront them. Yeah. Like everyone.
What we love is somebody finally stood up and said, no, you wait a minute.
Yeah.
You're a liar. If you look back at Congress, when somebody accused somebody of being a liar, it was like, oh, don't do that. And I'm like, what? They told a lie.
Nah, it's
Why
like,
shouldn't they be called a liar?
nah, we're done. We're done with that nonsense. If look, anyone and some people talk about Charlie Kirk and like, okay, the FBI connected. We talked about Candace Owens' accusations and theories, and yes, there are a ton of theories out there about who could have been responsible for Charlie Kirk's assassination. But I do remember that Charlie Kirk, after the president was reelected in November 2024, he said anyone, right, or I think it was shortly after he was sworn in, he said anyone who doesn't back President Trump's policies, we're going to primary them.
Right.
Okay. And at that moment, I believe, and this is a personal thing, I've said it once before, and this might be the second time that I'm saying it. Anyone who heard him say that felt like he stuck his finger in the eye of Congress, the GOP in Congress. And so Charlie Kirk didn't just have enemies on the left, he had enemies within the conservative movement as well.
Yeah.
So there are people who are invested in keeping the Republicans and conservatives docile and very, willing to roll over and show their bellies when a small scandal erupts. Oh, he looked at a woman the wrong way. Oh, I'm going to have to resign. Look, the kind of people who do things that move the needle are not very nice people. They aren't. Okay. And to be honest, they all have skeletons in their cupboards, all of them.
And
when you vote for someone,
call them out,
yeah,
you can bet that that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
No doubts about it. And the rest of us are finally saying, finally, somebody is recognizing this and talking about it.
Yeah. Canary King says Hart was enjoying himself on that yacht.
Yes, he was. Most definitely. And out of all those affairs and scandals, the one person I felt the sorriest for was Monica Lewinsky.
Oh, yeah.
She was so young and so enamored with being around somebody so powerful that it influenced her thinking.
Yeah.
That, oh, look, the president wants me. And that comes from too much idol worship.
Yeah. Media. It comes from the media.
I've been introduced to millionaires. There are members of my family that's millionaires. And they do not impress me.
Yeah.
Because they're just people.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line of it. They're people. They have bad and good sides to them. And that's that.
Yeah. Oh, I grew up around millionaires. And one was particularly close to our family. They weren't family, but my dad worked for them. And I found out that, look, they can be petty.
Yes.
Elitist.
And they worry constantly about losing their money.
Yeah. Oh, and reputation. Like they would literally ruin someone else's kid's life to protect their own, even though their own child was responsible for whatever the crime was.
Yes.
I saw this happen and I said, okay, I am so not impressed with anyone who's wealthy. It doesn't move me. It doesn't.
I've met some really good people that are very wealthy.
Yeah.
And I've known about some, like Elvis Presley. A lot of people didn't know that when Elvis Presley was out on his own, out of the camera light, he did some of the most fantastic things for others. A woman getting gas at a gas station and he gave her a Cadillac.
Hey.
And things like that. And Trump's same way.
Yeah.
You'll never hear about Trump helping people personally.
Yeah.
Until the news gets a hold of it, lets it out.
Yeah.
You just won't hear it. I mean, I remember when his daughter went over to Hawaii after the fire there and was helping pass out supplies to the people who'd lost everything. And there was one story made about it. That's it.
Yeah.
And the supplies she was handing out were supplies that the Trump organization had bought.
Yeah.
And nobody was told that.
But even if they talked about it, they'll say that he was trying to buy votes.
Yeah.
Those, like, you know, like we heard from The View, claiming that Trump doling out $1776 was him buying the loyalty of the army. That is such an insult to service members.
That
their loyalty can be bought for such a cheap amount.
I'll tell you what, if most of those people had to live on what our military men make, they would absolutely pitch a fit. When I went in the Air Force in 1974, my pay was $500 a month.
Wow.
$500 a month. So you lived in the barracks on base. You ate at the enlisted men's chow hall.
Yeah.
To offset the cost of living.
Yeah.
You didn't go grocery shopping and fix your own meals. Because you couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
So I bought a car for $500. A 1965 Mustang. But I mean, that's where I get riled up, is when they're giving money to the military and blah, blah, blah. And they don't realize that our military probably lives below poverty.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the pay scale is right now for enlisted.
Yeah.
But you can bet you by golly, it's not a living wage.
Yeah. Canary King says Jen Flowers got screwed, no pun intended. Well, the pun is in the chat. Yeah, well, she
made money.
She wrote a book.
She made money.
She became a personality. You know, they all write books. They make some money off it. You know, but hey, it is what it is. Canary King says the media is controlled by a handful of coordinated groups today. We lost a free press a long time ago. And I think it started, like we discussed last week, in right after Ronald Reagan repealed the what's it called now?
Well, under President Clinton, when he was sued by the woman in Arkansas for sexual harassment while he was governor, you could not find a story on it. And a friend of mine asked me, hey, what's going on with that? And I said, well, wait a minute. I had worked for a small newspaper in San Angelo, Texas, and learned about the Associated Press. So I went on their website, put in the information, and up popped all kinds of information about that lawsuit. And it was horrifying because nobody in the media was reporting it. They didn't even report when the woman took a settlement out of court that Bill Clinton was in Africa celebrating, smoking a cigar. After he got rid of all of our tobacco farmers.
Yeah.
And made a deal with African countries to ship tobacco into the United States. Claiming he was against cigarette smoking. So there's a lot that's been hidden from the American citizens.
Yeah.
About presidents.
Yeah. There's a lot. And like, I think the title of this live stream should be "The Media is the Enemy of the People." I'll just but it's gonna stay the same. But the more I look at it, the more obvious it is that that the media isn't good for a functioning civilization. It isn't.
At the end of the Clinton administration, the Associated Press started selling their you had to become a customer of the AP to get the stories.
Oh.
Now, the AP, the Associated Press, was where all reporters in America file their stories.
Okay.
And the news medias, including newspapers, go through those and pick which ones they're going to put up for their headlines.
Ah.
And which stories they're going to cover. And the Associated Press still does that. So it's a collection of news stories from across the country.
Okay. Intergalactic Wrangler he's listening. He says, "Hello everyone, I'm listening and multitasking."
Hello.
Yeah. I used to do this when I still had my 9 to 5. I would put a YouTube video on and listen in the background while I was, going around going about my my day-to-days. It's a good thing to do. Canary King says Gaddafi, Hillary is evil or is the devil, whichever that emoji said.
Gaddafi, yes. She killed that man.
Yeah. Okay. We have some love being exchanged in the chat. Canary King is saying hi to Intergalactic. We have Canary King says, "I feel for Monica. She was actually a victim."
Yes, she was.
It's I don't know.
Manipulated by a man who had power.
Yeah.
Now, the Paula Jones, the one that filed the lawsuit against Clinton, what a lot of people didn't realize at that time, there was a woman who was working for the member of transportation cabinet in the White House.
Yeah.
I think her first name was Linda something. And she knew about the Monica Lewinsky story. And her boss was the one that was discovered in a park and that deemed to have committed suicide. And the next day that she went into the White House, everything in that office was gone, including her personal belongings. And she was sent to the Pentagon to work out of the White House. And Monica Lewinsky was friends with her. And she is the one that broke the story about Monica Lewinsky. But she did it very smartly. She did it in front of TV cameras.
Yeah.
Now, if the president of the United States wants you dead, where are you going to go hide?
Yeah.
So if you come under those circumstances, put your face in front of a camera.
Immediately. All right, so I'm going to play this Associated Press video about the Paula Jones story. It's a few minutes, or well, not that long. So we'll just play a bit. I hope there's no music there. All right.
She was the one that accused Bill Clinton of sexual harassment.
Yeah.
It was an honor to meet you, a pleasure to meet you, and thank you very much.
You're welcome.
There's the check.
And show them the check. Raise
There's
it.
the check.
It's your check.
Now, once she settled out of court, everything went cease halt. And if you see that AP up there, that's Associated Press.
Yeah.
Well, our agreement had a payment of money, $700,000, plus a statement by the president redeeming Paula Jones's reputation.
There you have it.
It's a cash payment of $850,000 only. Well, I knew there was an interest on both sides to get the matter resolved. Well, I think that he puts him in a good position as well. He
What?
can come out and say, listen, I've made peace with Paula Jones, and now it's time to make peace with the American people.
Now, they did that after 30 women were lined up to testify against Bill Clinton in court. Over 30 women.
So look, we could do a 6-hour live stream covering all of the adventures of Bill Clinton.
So I don't want to hear nothing out of the Democrats' mouths about Donald Trump and women.
Oh no, look, those people are shameless. They're going to continue to come out with the Epstein files. When they came out with the first batch of accusations and they were discredited, I said that this wasn't going to stop them. They were going to continue to do the exact same nonsense, do the exact same thing, and hope that nobody notices.
Like I've always said, they can care less that their lies are discovered as long as the lie brought about the
does not
damage
want
they
to
wanted.
spend one more minute on this matter. The American people have made it very, very clear that they want the president and they want Congress to spend their time on the problems
Yeah,
they were
right.
elected to solve. And this is a step in that
Nothing
direction.
to see here.
Fortunately, a new counsel for Ms. Jones satisfied the conditions which we had, one of which was assuring us in writing that Mr. Hirschfield's money was off the table and was no part of any settlement, and that and some other conditions were met, and as a result, we were able to reach a settlement. The settlement number was $850,000. I don't know how that will be distributed. I understand Ms. Jones' legal fees are $3 or $4 million, but that's not my problem. That's a problem they'll have to work out.
Yeah, so
And back to the stripper with Trump, he sued her and she had to pay him.
Okay.
Because she breached a contract.
Yeah.
But Paula Jones worked in the Arkansas government. And how all this got about was she had to deliver papers to Clinton at a motel. And a state trooper was standing outside of the motel room and gave her access to Clinton. She took the papers in. Clinton dropped his drawers and demanded she service him. And she turned around and left. And the state trooper made some good remarks at that time. And what people didn't know was her lawsuit was not only against Bill Clinton, but that state trooper.
Oh.
Now, the reason why you never heard about the state trooper, that was one night when he was answering a call, he was shot and killed by another Arkansas state trooper.
What?
Yeah.
Essentially, he was assassinated.
Right. Friendly fire.
Not so friendly. Not so friendly. Now, I have a video here. Like, this isn't the Bill Clinton show, but I guess it is the Bill Clinton show because, like I said, we were gonna circle back to the whole situation with Epstein files. So here's hold on one second. So we're gonna look at the Monica Lewinsky story before we circle back to the Epstein files, and then you guys let me know what you think in the chat because I think it's good for us to remember, okay? This is a good place to just remember because the Democrats are counting on your selective amnesia. They want you to listen to all of the current lies that they're telling.
What about that
and
other stuff?
Yes, but ignore all of the obvious facts. Bill Clinton was essentially a serial Womanizer.
Oh, he's not president.
He's not president now. Oh, sorry, and shut up. But you guys get to dig up things from 20 years ago on Trump and claim that it's relevant today.
More like 30 years ago.
30 years ago. You guys are just, you've lost credibility. You don't have legs to stand on.
And some of those pictures with Epstein, when you look at them with Trump with him, he was very young at that time.
Yeah.
He was not a middle-aged man.
Yeah.
And people don't look at it like that.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the picture.
Oh, there's a picture, but you don't. But anyway, let's listen to this.
About the fact that Monica Lewinsky's life was defined by it unfairly, I think. Over the years, I've watched her trying to get a normal life back again. But you got to decide how to define normal.
Monica Lewinsky is a name forever etched in America's cultural memory, not just for her involvement in one of the most sensational political scandals of the 20th century, but also for the public shaming that followed. Known as the former White House intern whose affair with President Bill Clinton led to his impeachment, she became a target of ridicule, mockery, and media exploitation. For many years, she remained largely silent, enduring a narrative that portrayed her as the villain. But nearly 3 decades later, she's reclaiming her voice as a producer, advocate, and influential public figure. The day the world changed.
I remember opening the door, and these were in the days where people would get a newspaper delivered, and in DC it was always several, like the Post and the New York Times, and I remember seeing my name above the fold and in the investigation, and looking down the hall and seeing the exact same newspaper outside everybody else's door. And it was shocking. It was terrifying. And I didn't actually know how to process anything. And really it was a moment where life as I knew it was over.
The thing about
it destroyed her.
Yeah, the thing about it is, whenever the stories like this come out, it's not about the person who committed the crime, but it's about the victim. Why was it that her name was all over the place?
Yeah.
Why?
It goes back to Linda. Linda was in fear of her own life because I think she knew her boss didn't commit suicide.
Yeah.
Park. One of the least likely places you would go to end your life. And if they can kill your boss, what are they going to do to you? So she broke the Monica Lewinsky story in front of the cameras. And she did it to protect her own life. And I really believe that.
Yeah. Yeah. The people who have crossed the Clintons over the years have usually wound up dead. And it is a fact. And people make jokes of it.
How many survived Whitewater? How many people involved in Whitewater is actually alive today?
That is a question.
Not
all right.
me.
All right. So we're jumping into the chat. Let's see. Canary King says Elvis was a good man. Very talented too.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. So we have Carrie Franklin 971 says, now, is this a first time chat? Because I don't remember seeing you in the chat, but they said she was definitely a victim of the rich. They use people, and I'm sure she thought she was going somewhere with Clinton. She was young and dumb.
Yes, inexperienced.
And inexperienced, yeah.
Inexperienced.
Yeah.
She didn't know what she was fooling with.
Yeah.
And you were spot on with that statement.
Yeah. Yeah, he was. And then as another comment from him or them, Clinton could have made it right with her and the world. Oh, wow. They said, I'm new here. Well, welcome.
Welcome.
I'm glad that we're finding each other. If you can and if you want to, let us know where you're watching from and how do we refer to you? Is it a he or a she? You know, we wouldn't like to use the wrong pronouns, not because we're pronoun policing ourselves, but we just want to be polite.
Harry, there is a call-in number that you can click on and connect in.
Oh yeah,
and make your statements live on the air with the rest of us.
Yeah, so I have to put up the call-in number now. So let's see. So let's just share it. So we have a call-in, and if you want to kind of chime in, the call-in number is right there on the screen in the chat. You can hit the link and just call in. Okay, so. She's come alive in the chat. She says, she sure didn't, and she also says, I'm an old lady.
So am I.
Yeah. So she sounds like a lovely person. So if you feel like chiming in and just giving your voice, the call in is available for everyone who's watching. If you want to chime in now, we're going to circle back to the first story because we didn't know that while we were rambling on about the Epstein files blowback in the faces of the Democrats who've been pushing it. We didn't know that the live stream wasn't on the main channel. So, oh my goodness, guess what? She's from Arkansas. She said, oh my goodness. She says, I don't have enough signal because I'm at my job. My husband is doing Camden, Arkansas. Wow. Okay, so we're talking about the former governor of Arkansas, and
that's okay because now they've got a wonderful governor.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna circle back to the first story that we couldn't cover, or we had already covered before we realized that we weren't live on the main channel. So we're just going to jump back into that. Here's the Democrat Party trying to make it seem like Bill Clinton showing up in those pictures in the newly released Epstein files is not as important as Trump being on them.
Let me ask you about what we have seen released in the Epstein files so far. Former President Bill Clinton is featured prominently in the first batch, as I was just discussing. Now, to be very clear, NBC News does not know the full context behind these images, and simply being in the Epstein files doesn't.
So, can we just point out the obvious? All right, is there a picture like this? Is there a picture like this with Trump in a pool?
He ain't got no clothes on.
No clothes on. Ghislaine Maxwell in the pool with him, and a yet to be disclosed young lady. Can the Democrats show us anything of this sort when they continue to claim that President Trump was a partner to Epstein's, trafficking and illicit business? Okay, it's insanity like this that blows my mind. Okay, so let's go through
context behind these images, and simply being in the Epstein files doesn't imply any criminal wrongdoing. But does Clinton owe the public an explanation about his relationship with Jeffrey?
So while I was getting outraged, we missed out on NBC trying to glaze over the fact that, well, this doesn't exactly mean that Bill Clinton did anything wrong. Yeah. But whenever they're presenting their coverage of Trump, a photo or video of Trump, in Mar-a-Lago pointing out things to Epstein and just being a nice host. Oh, that's evidence that Trump was one of the ringleaders of the Epstein Island setup.
And shortly after that, he threw Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago.
He did.
Featured prominent
fluid actions.
Yeah, so let's listen to this, okay? I promise to not interrupt, okay? I will save my outrage for the end of the video, and then we will cover this. So let's listen to them again, okay? Try very hard to finagle their way out of the obvious, okay? This isn't Trump being in the Epstein files. This is Democrats and Bill Clinton being in the Epstein files.
Let me ask you about what we have seen released in the Epstein files so far. Former President Bill Clinton is featured prominently in the first batch, as I was just discussing. Now, to be very clear, NBC News does not know the full context behind these images, and simply being in the Epstein files doesn't imply any criminal wrongdoing. But does Clinton owe the public an explanation about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein?
You know, I actually haven't tracked what President Clinton has said, and if there are unanswered questions, you know, he should address them, and I suspect he will. But let's just make sure that we meet the promise that President Trump made as a candidate that all these files will be released.
So Tim Kaine's answer is, well, I don't know what President Clinton has said. I haven't been tracking that, but I've been tracking President Trump, who hasn't been found. No, there's been no photo of him in a pool. There's been no photo of him with young girls sitting on his lap. Okay, none of that. Oh no, but it's about President Trump fulfilling his promise.
Let's put all the facts and all the material out on the table, and then folks can reach their own judgments about anybody connected with this horrible, horrible case. I led the effort to try to deny Secretary of Labor Acosta confirmation in the first Trump administration because of his involvement in this sweetheart deal, which, even knowing a fraction of the facts back then in 2017, it looked horrible. And
okay, so it looked horrible knowing the facts about Epstein, but it's okay for one of your colleagues in the Democrat Party to collude with Epstein during a Trump impeachment hearing, knowing all of the facts. You led the impeachment proceedings for someone who knew a fraction of the facts, but with someone who knew all the facts colluding with Epstein during the impeachment hearings for Trump, that was perfectly okay. She was talking to a constituent. These guys continue to show how evil they are.
Eventually had to resign in disgrace because of it. And since then, the public has had legitimate questions, and everything since, including Jeffrey Epstein's suicide, legitimate questions. Let's get it all out on the table.
Yeah, so it's just crazy. So let's look at the chat. So that is look, it's I don't know. I don't know how these people live with themselves. I honestly don't. I don't. It's infuriating to watch. Let's see.
Better than the Queen of Hearts, off with their heads.
Yeah. So Carrie Franklin says, I saw a video about 5 years ago of a General McEnany. I live in Arkansas. I'm a Houstonian. Sorry, Houstonian. Okay, so you're from Houston originally, but you live in Arkansas. Amazing. All right, thank you for that. Carrie again says, the general said that Trump was approached by 3 generals back years ago to hire him because he can't be bought. Look at that. That is military testimony there.
Yep.
And you know what? Democrats hate self-made people. They hate self-made people, and they try to smear them to make them look like they're thieves and crooks, and they made their money the wrong way. They stole money from hardworking American people. Like we saw that video from Rob Reiner saying that he bilked millions from people and wiped out their retirements. Oh my goodness. Carrie also says, I believe Trump was an informant to help take Epstein down. I'm going to continue reading the chat, but there's one more video to play in this story. Okay, so listen to Scott Jennings' takedown of the Democrat leftist talking heads who try to make this whole conversation around the files aren't completely released yet, and it's still all about President Trump not coming through with his promises because he's involved. And then he says this.
Scott, don't you think that because they are not releasing everything that Congress and the president signed to say you have to release this in 30 days, doesn't it give more fodder for the conspiracies that exist? I mean, they're not following the law.
Well, look, they've released how many documents tonight? 200,000? More? 400?
10% of that.
Okay, so a good faith effort is being made to release files tonight.
Really?
They're obviously doing that. And I think as it relates to redactions, I mean, my impression is that there's a whole lot of names of victims in there and minors and other people that you probably wouldn't want to release, and they do need to be redacted. Regarding Bill Clinton, I'm sorry to tell you, the reason that Bill Clinton's picture is in the Epstein files is because this has always been a story about Bill Clinton and not Donald Trump. We should call it the Clinton files, not the Epstein files. That's what we're learning tonight. This is the Clinton files. This is the blowing up in the face of the Democrats over this. It's Bill Clinton. This is a story about Democrats and Bill Clinton.
All right, but that is the truth. That is the truth. Conservative voices have been screaming from the rooftops about the Epstein files for over a decade, and it has always been about the connection that Democrats and Bill Clinton and other powerful people who are left-leaning had to Epstein. So it's always been about that. One more chat from Carrie before I get your take on it, Patricia. Carrie says, right, I don't see any Trump pictures in a pond. Look, if they had anything on President Trump, they would have used it to destroy his bid in 2024.
It would have been all over the place.
It would have been all over the place. Now, the Democrats and the talking heads are screaming about President Trump not releasing all the files. And we just got to watch Monica Lewinsky detail how her life essentially was ruined because her name showed up on the headlines of newspapers, and that was it. Her life was changed. And these guys want to repeat the same thing. And the thing about Democrats is they destroy people's lives to use them as political capital, and then walk away pointing at the Republican Party and saying, no, you guys should have known better. You shouldn't have released the unredacted files. That's the play that they're going to use if the Republicans go ahead and release all of the files unredacted or unfiltered. So, Patricia, what do you think?
Oh, it's kind of comical because how they were going on about those Epstein files, and I knew ain't nobody going to jail until one of those girls presses charges, and they're not going to do that because they fear for their own life.
Yeah,
you're messing with some very, very powerful people, and they allowed the Prince of England to be drug out in the middle of it because they all thought that Trump was going to fall. And when they found out that Trump wasn't as involved with Epstein as the Democrat people were, now they want it to go away.
Yeah.
Silence it. Let's not talk about it anymore.
Yeah, while they scream that Trump is hiding something.
But we're not going to talk about the 400,000 pages of files that came out.
Oh, yeah. No. Or the fact that we have many photos of Bill Clinton in the Epstein files.
Oh, yeah.
No. It's not about that. It's about the fact that the Republicans are delaying releasing all the files. Hypocrites. These guys are hypocrites. MacGyver. Yeah, MacGyver is in the chat and he simply laughs out loud. And yes, thank you, MacGyver, for joining the live stream again today. Now, please, if you're new here, like Carrie is, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit the bell icon, okay? Because the bell icon lets you know when we go live. We go live every day at noon Eastern and at 9 p.m. No, sorry, it's now 8 p.m. Eastern. I keep saying 9 p.m., but we brought the evening live streams to go live earlier. So it's 8 p.m. Eastern and noon Eastern every day. So you get notified. So please consider subscribing, hit the bell icon.
Don't forget about Friday.
And Fridays we have our Friday night sessions, 8 p.m. Eastern Friday night. We go into what we call our ancient aliens, ancient civilizations, aliens, and paranormal activity. Like last Saturday, we covered the AI Atlas story, and we're still covering it.
Yeah,
we're still covering that story, and strange news that people don't listen to, but stuff is actually happening. We're going to be covering that, and that's what we dedicated our Friday nights to. So we take some light news, but we dive deep into these things, and eventually, as it grows, if we have more of you asking for more of that and sending us more stories to cover, we're going to see how many times we can do that during the week. So last week Friday was fun. It was fun. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I hope that you consider being a part of that conversation too, because there's so many things happening in this world that can't be explained, and the news hides those stories. Okay, so today we're talking about stuff that can be explained. Okay, it's easy to look at the news stories, look at historical footage and say, hey, this is easy to explain. We know what's going on here. But how about the stuff that can't be explained? So that's what we're going to be talking about on Friday nights.
Explanations about what was going on with Bill Clinton and those people.
Oh, no. There's lots of evidence. We know what was going on there. He slipped and she fell.
Yeah.
So
that's on into the pool.
Yes.
We dived in to rescue her.
Yeah.
He was nowhere near her.
Yeah. He couldn't find her for about 2 hours while they were in the pool.
Yeah.
All right. We have another comment by Carrie. Right. They put a picture out of his models and him and redacted their faces like they were victims. Those people are shameless and God will win this battle. Amen, Carrie. Amen. Look, I'm happy whenever the live stream is found by people like Carrie, like MacGyver, like Canary King, like you, Patricia. Like this, all this is just you, people finding this content. And we've been talking about how hard it has been for people to find content like this online, and it seems like there's a conspiracy to keep people like us from connecting and talking and sharing our own stories and our thoughts on what's going on in the news. So it's important that we that we do that we continue to connect. And when you like what you see here, also consider sharing the video. All right. So Carrie Franklin says that video disappeared. Okay. I think there's a video that was referred to. She also says Scott Jennings doesn't mince his words. Very true. And that's why we love him. And that's why I guess CNN keeps him, because he's good for ratings. Scott is good for ratings. Let's see. Carrie Franklin says, straight up, the Democrats hold the keys to the Epstein saga. They do.
Yes.
They do. And they're trying to hide things. And then the last comment that Carrie posted a couple of minutes back says, and the Democrats' base apparently doesn't have the common sense to understand that part. I think one of these days.
Stupid.
Well, this should go into the category of the unexplained news, because it's hard to explain how people are presented with all of the evidence, and yet they continue to vote Democrat.
Carrie, I'm glad you're on here because yes.
Yeah.
100% on target.
Yes, she is. All right. We were planning to have had a shorter live stream, but whenever you're having so much fun on the live stream, it's just gets longer. So guys, thank you so much for joining us for this live stream. Please, again, subscribe, hit the bell icon, like the video, hit the thumbs up icon, share the video, invite more people just like yourself who might enjoy this conversation. Every time we go live, we talk about the news stories, but we also talk about your commentary on the stories. So you're very much a part of the show, as we are, who are showing up on the screen. We have the call-in feature that we have available that you can use to join in. And if you're uncomfortable with typing, you can easily just hit the link and talk to us. Carrie says, I'm getting ready to leave and go home. And so are we. We're getting ready to go off the air.
Hey, you all be careful going back to Houston.
Yeah. So we're going to be back again at 8 p.m. Eastern. Hope, Carrie, you can join us for the show tonight. We're going to be covering more of the news, and we hope that you're going to be able to join us. So thank you all for your comments. Thank you all for your eyeballs, for watching, and for contributing the energy that you felt during this show. This show would not be possible without you. And we're going to be going off the air, but remember to join us tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Until then, goodbye and God bless you. Patricia, any last words?
Nice meeting you, Carrie, and bye, Interstellar and Canary.
Yeah, and MacGyver. MacGyver was in the chat as well.
Yeah, I love MacGyver.
Yeah. So we will be back again tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Welcome to Headlines and History, live news reactions and your views. We're about to go live soon, so grab your spot and get ready for a sharp, balanced take on today's biggest news stories with a dash of historical insight. Stay tuned. Each week, we tackle the headlines that matter: politics, economics, global events with a balanced lens. We'll react live, tie today's stories to historical moments, and spotlight your views in the chat. From trade talks echoing the 1990s to crises recalling 2008, we're here to unpack it all. Your voice drives the show. Share your thoughts or historical parallels in the live chat, and we'll dive into the best ones. It's news, context, and community all in 1 hour. We're moments away from launching Headlines and History. Stick around for live reactions, historical nuggets, and your chance to chime in. Hit the notification bell, prep your comments, and let's make sense of the news together. See you soon.